Labas nyo na lang yung calculator nyo with you. So, ilabas nyo yung calcu. And then, ano ba ba? Ball pen, pencil. Tapos, magsasagot na tayo. Okay? So, again, I prepared fewer questions today. Kasi puro concept lang naman yung nasa last part ng Anachem, no? Okay. So, without further ado, siguro start na tayo. Ayan, question 1. Dali lang. Question 1. Arrange the following light colors by increasing energy. Sige. Green, blue, red, violet, and orange. So, how would you arrange them by increasing energy? Sige, chat nyo na lang yung answer nyo. Okay, so by increasing energy, so green, blue, may timer pala dapat. So let's have a timer, 1 minute lang yan. Okay. Okay, so increasing energy. Okay, so I guess I won't wait until the 1 minute mark ends na. Sige, so the answer is, okay, by increasing energy, ano yan? Saan na yung aking pansulat? Ayun. So yes, you are correct, no? So correct yun. Red, orange, wala namang yellow. Green, Roy G. Biv, no? Yan. Rugged. Okay. So yan, so that's by increasing energy. So meaning red has the least energy, while violet has the greatest energy, no? So that's in terms of energy, no? So ito, least energy, and this is the most energetic or the most energy. Okay. And now, there could be variety of questions here. Pwedeng in terms of energy, pwedeng in terms of frequency, pwedeng in terms of wavelength. No? Okay, so now, if you know the relationship of energy, frequency, wavelength, well, kaya nyo siya sagutan talaga, no? Okay, why is it that red has the least energy, no? So, in an electromagnetic spectrum kasi, the red color has the least frequency, no? Or least cycle per hertz, no? And as in turn, ito yung may pinakamalaking wavelength, no? Okay, so siya yung may pinakamalaking wavelength, no? Because yung oscillation ng energy mabagal, no? So as time passes, malalaki yung distances between the crest and the troughs, no? Yan, mga ganun. Okay, so yun lang yung trend, no? So the bigger the wavelength, the lower the energy, no? And as you increase the frequency, okay, di ba gumaganong-ganon? As you increase the frequency, what happens is that the oscillation happens in a quicker instance, no? So meaning it will travel a very much shorter distance to complete one cycle. So kaya kapag lumalaki yung frequency, ano nangyari? Lumalaki din yung, lumiliit yung wavelength, no? Ayan, intindihin nyo na lang yan. Okay, so pag dumadami yung frequency, okay, so mas often yung oscillation, that means the particle or the energy will travel a shorter distance to complete a cycle, no? Pag ganun siya. And as you know, when an object oscillates, there's energy, no? Kinetic energy yun, no? So the more often it oscillates, the more higher the frequency is, the more energy it possesses. No? Okay, ito, side kwento lang tayo. Probably some of you were, ano ba yun? Probably yung iba sa inyo, naririnig yung idea about 5G daw, no? Okay, so well, 5G or 5 gigahertz frequency is is too big, no, to affect our atoms, no. So 5 gigahertz, compute mo yung niyan, wavelength. So sige. So wait lang, 3 times 10 raised to 8. Ano yun? Wavelength tapos frequency 5 gigahertz, gigahertz. Ano ba kapag giga? Diba kilo, 1,000, mega, million, giga, billion. Okay. Ship solve. Yung 5G na nasa cellphone natin, ang kanyang okay. So yung 5G sa cellphone natin, ang kanyang wavelength ay lang, 0.06 meters, no? Okay. So in terms of centimeter, 6 centimeter yan, no? So 6 centimeter lang, yung atom natin is way smaller than 6 centimeter, no? So ibig sabihin nun, the 5G energy will not affect our atoms, no? So it won't cause chemical reaction. Okay. Pero that 6 centimeter is medyo nearing the IR range na yon eh. Kaya minsan napapansin nyo, di ba, umiinit yung phone. Okay. So other than it's being used, it's also that frequency. No? So it can heat up the device, no? Just like in microwaves. No? So microwaves, around 6 centimeter din yung, yung frequency. So yan, so umiinit yung phone dahil doon. But it doesn't affect us in a molecular scale because 6 centimeters way bigger than the size of our molecules or atoms. No? So, masyadong mababa yung energy, no? That it won't affect you. Okay? So, yun lang. So, wag kayong maniwala sa mga 5G na daw nagkakos ng cancer. They just don't know science. Pag ganun. Okay. So, yan. So, yan. So, lagi nyo natatandaan, Roy G. Biv, no? Red, lowest energy, lower frequency, largest wavelength. And then yung violet, mostly energetic, large frequency. Okay, malaki yung frequency niya and shortest wavelength. No? If you go beyond violet, you have ultraviolet, no? Which comes from sunlight. Okay, so yan. Dali lang, no? Question number 2 na tayo. Question number 2. Okay, the question number 2 is just like your experiment. Okay, medyo marami isosolve dito. Okay, yan. So given the data for the spectroscopic analysis of chemical X, compute the required data below. So we need the equation of line, the R square, the concentration of the unknown, and the molar absorptivity coefficient of the unknown. Okay. So, I'll walk you through, no, kung paano magsagot ng problem na to. Okay, so here you have the concentrations, parang sa lab nyo lang, you have the blank, and then increasing concentration of chemical X. And say na inanalyze siya using a camera, so yung red units doon, ito daw. So from 254, and then it starts absorbing red light. So 240, 200, 185, 56 na. And the unknown that was analyzed measured about 212 red units daw. So given that data, we need to solve for the following. Equation of the line, R square, unknown concentration, and molar absorptivity coefficient. So I'll give you a guide, no? Siguro some of you have started already solving for this. Pero I'll give you a guide, no? For the absorbance, no? Remember, the absorbance is the negative log of the transmittance, no? Negative log of the transmittance, no? Yung ating incident, no, would be the blank. Kaya nga nagme-measure tayo ng blank, no? Okay? So yan. So 254 yun nasa baba nito. Yun yung incident natin. And the transmitted is whatever the other values are. Okay? Yun. So ganun lang. So of course, yung una, yung blank, yung absorbance niyan would be 0. Kasi 254 divided by 254, 1. If you take the log of 1, 0 yon. So the answer for the blank absorbance will be 0. Okay? So 0. 4 decimal na natin. Okay? And then, pagdating sa 0.01 concentration, it is now 242. Okay? So instead of 254 sa numerator, gagawin natin siyang 242. And if we take the negative log of 242 and 254, it will give us an absorbance of wait lang. It will give us an absorbance of 0.0210. Okay? Sa name mouse. Medyo matagal isolve to, no? Dami kong hiningi. Okay? So, yan. And then, for 200, you do the same. So, 200 naman sa numerator. Ginagawa ko sa nasagutan ko na yung absorbance, ha? Ayan. And then, the absorbance at 0.005 concentration is 0. Tama ba yung tingin ko? 1038 na. And then at 0.01 concentration, bumaba lalo yung transmittance. Okay, naging 185. So the absorbance is 0.1377. Nag-round off na ako. And then finally, we have the data for 56. No? So, yung 56 na yan, ang absorbance niya daw 0.6566. Well, as for the unknown, okay, yung unknown 212, so its absorbance according to my calcu is 0.0785. Okay? So now you have the absorbance and then you have the concentrations. Okay? Your task now is to do the linear regression in your calculator. Hopefully familiar kayo doing that in a calculator. So solve nyo yung equation of the line y equals bx plus a. Okay? R square. Yung r na masasolve nyo is square mo pa siya. The unknowns concentration, you can get it from the equation of the line and the molar absorptivity coefficient. I'll give you the relevant equations here. So I'll write the equations here. So for the equation of the line, it's y equals bx plus a sa calcu mo. Then to solve for the concentration, x can be computed as y minus a over b. Well, I just manipulated this equation to get the value of x. And for you to get the molar absorptivity coefficient of the unknown, we have another equation, a equals epsilon bc. If we rewrite this, it will be a over bc. It will give you the molar absorptivity coefficient. Okay? Sige. So I'll give you probably about 5 minutes for this one. Mahaba yung problem na to eh. Okay, so 5 minutes and yan. And now you have the absorbance. Type nyo na lang sa calc nyo. If you have Excel with you, sige, go. Okay. And solve for those data. Okay. So 5 minutes tayo. Okay. Yung equation of the line, magkaiba po ba yan nilagay niya sa question? Same lang na. It's y equals mx plus b. Pero sa calculator kasi, yung nandun, yung b slope, yung a intercept. So same lang din naman. It's just yung calculator. Yung instead of m, b yung gamit niya. No, and instead of ano, b, a yung gamit niya for the intercept. So yun. Yun, may sagot na tayo kay Nathan. Sige, I'll wait for your answers. Okay, sige. I'll guide you how to answer this. Medyo matagal talaga siya. So if you're still working on it, go lang. Okay. For those na walang idea kung paano sagutan to, gagayad ko kaya. Don't worry. I'll just reshare the screen. Okay. Yan. Possible for me to share two screens. So, wait lang, may try lang ako. Wala. Sige, ito na lang. So, I'll share the entire screen. Okay? And, so, bale, dun sa mga may, magaganda na calcu, okay. Sige, tayo, magpindot-pindot. Okay, ito calcu. Okay. So ngayon, how will you... Ay, sorry, mali. So how will you show this sa, how will you type this in a calculator para lumabas yung anek-anek dyan? Okay, so you have your calculator here. So gagawin nyo, you go to menu, okay, menu. Tapos hanapin nyo yung stat, no, or statistics. Okay, pag nasa statistics na kayo, you will be given many variables, di ba? Naalala nyo siguro, ginamit natin yung one variable para sa, sa stats, no? Yung mga standard deviation, etc. So, dyan natin ginawa yun. But now, we are doing linear regression. And in this calculator, the linear regression is signified by this symbol, no? Y equals bx plus a, or a plus bx. So let's choose that, no? So bale, now meron tayong kala ko So bale now meron tayong table. We have the x, then we have the y. So in UVVs, no, in calibrations, we put the concentration in the x variable. It's independent, and the absorbance in the y variable, or the dependent variable. So yung blank, it's just 0. Okay, so type 0, press equal sign. Ayan. Then another x would be 0.001. Okay, press equal sign lang to enter the data. 0.005 equal sign, 0.01 equal sign, and 0.05 equal sign. Okay? And as for the y, ito type ko yung absorbance that I obtained earlier. So 0 yung first absorbance, 0.0210 yung second absorbance, 0.1038 yung third absorbance, 1377, followed by 0.6566, followed by, yun lang pala, no? Yung unknown, hindi mo siya ito-type muna, no? So this is the table for the concentration in the x-axis, absorbance in the y-axis, no? So now, to get the equation of the line, we just simply press AC, wala uli yan. Then we go to option, and then we look for the regression data, no? So it might be different to different calculators, pero pag pinindot nyo yung regression, you have options for the B, the A, and the R, no? Okay. So yan, it's written here naman. So I'll summarize it na lang dito sa PowerPoint. So the slope, no, is 12886. If 4 decimal ko na lang, no? So as for the equation of the line, again, yung B natin, yung slope, no? Yung A, yung intercept. Nakalagay naman dito eh. Bx plus A. Yung katabi ni B, slope, no? So it's y equals B, okay? 12 point, ano yun? Yung B, 8874. Plus A. Okay, the intercept 0137. Sorry. 0.0137. Okay? So again, equation of the line sa calcu, it's Bx plus A. B is the slope, A is the intercept. Sa math kasi, Mx plus B. Pero yung calcu, Bx plus A. Bakit ganon? Di ko sure. Sisihin natin yung Casio. Sila nagpauso niyan. Ayan. Now, how about the R square? Take note that the R here is squared dapat, no? It's not just the R. Nakalagay kasi dito R. Okay? Kailan pa square yan? So, paano may square yan? Pwede naman square mo yung buong number. Pero what I do is ganito na lang. So I go here dito sa regression. Ayan. So probably ganito sa ibang calcu. You have the B, the A, the R, the X hat, and the Y hat. Okay. So R tayo. So 3, R, tapos pindutin mo square. So ito yung gagamitin mo. 9969. No? So R square. Again, tandaan dapat naka-square. 0.9969. Okay. Ayan. Okay, so ganun lang. Now, how about the concentration of the unknown? We can use this now. Okay, so it's just this y equals bx plus a. Okay, tapos solve mo lang yung x, no? So you just transpose the a to the other side and divide both sides by the slope. You get this. So pwede tayo mag-plug in. So to solve for x, yung y is the absorbance of the unknown, which is this one, 0.0785 minus the intercept, ito yon, 0.0137 over the slope, no, which is 12.8874. So now the unknown concentration, okay, pindutin ko lang sa isa ko pang calcu. Okay, divided by 12.8874. So sagot daw ay 5 times 10 raised to negative 3 molar. So ida-decimal ko na lang, ha. So 0.0123 molar. Okay? Or 5.03 times 10 raised to negative 3 molar. Okay, pagdating nyo sa point na to, mag-ano kayo muna. Ay, sorry. Pagdating nyo sa point na to, mag-self-reflect muna kayo. Does the concentration, make sense? Okay, does it make sense? Paano meaning ng make sense? Kasi yung absorbance niya is 0.07. Hanapin mo kung saan malapit yon. Dito, sa 0.05, no? So, ayan, nagme-make sense ba? Medyo naman, no? Medyo nagme-make sense. Yan, so 0.05. Okay, kasi magkalapit. Kasi mamaya, nag-solve ka ng x, tapos yung absorbance mo nasa dulo banda, tapos yung concentration na na-solve mo nasa other side. Baka may mali, no? May mali ka na pindot. Okay. Well, anyway, so that's the concentration of the unknown. 0.00503 molar. Now, to solve for the molar absorptivity coefficient of the unknown, okay, so I now have the absorbance of the unknown, naka-circle na. Assume the path length is 1 cm. No? Always 1 cm naman gamit eh. And yung concentration, na-solve na natin. Ito yon. Okay. So now we can solve for the epsilon. So it's A over BC. So ano yung absorbance? 0.0785 divided by the B. Okay. Ano yung B dito? Yung path length yan, no? 1 cm lang yan. Okay, always 1 cm naman. And the concentration, which is ayun, 0.005, sorry, mali. Tama pala. 503 molar. Okay? So, yan. So, now, plug in natin lahat yan. So, pindot lang uli sa calcu, 0785 divided by 1 times 0.00503 molar. So, sagot, round off ko na to. 15.6 na. Ni-round off ko na kasi. Okay lang yan kahit ni-round off na. Magkakalayo naman yung ano eh. Pero kung di kayo nag-round off, edi ano yan, mas exact yung epsilon niya. Pero in my case, ni-round off ko na. No? Ayan, okay na yan. Okay, so ganun lang. So again, if the path length isn't mentioned, it's ano lang, 1 cm. No, 1 cm lang yan, parate. As for the concentration, kung kaya nyo hindi i-round off, go. Pero ako gusto ko i-round off. So yun, medyo iba yung sagot namin ni Nathan. Pero yan, magkadapit lang naman. Also yung options naman is iba-iba, no? For each letter. Okay. Siguro yung iba nagtataka sa inyo sa pre-lab, no? Siguro sabi ng iba, sir, sa post-lab pala, sir, ano gagamitin namin to get the epsilon? Okay. And sabi ko, usually, pwede naman yung unknown. Pero, given that this data has a linear relationship, ibig sabihin, regardless kung ano gamitin mo dyan, same halos yung epsilon na lalabas, no? Same halos yung molar absorptivity na lalabas. Okay, so same lang halos yan. Kasi linear yung relationship. Okay, ayun lang. Ayun lang. Okay, magaganito ba kayo sa exam? Mas madali dito. Okay. Mas madali dito. Pero kailangan alam nyo kunin yung absorbance. Alam nyo kunin yung equation of the line. Alam nyo kunin yung R square. Alam nyo kunin yung concentration. And yung molar absorptivity. So, yun lang. Pag alam nyo na yan, ano na yan? 10 points agad yan. Probably 10 points, no? Ayan. Okay. May question na? Paano po kayo sa non-class with calcu? Ito na nga. Bigay ko na ba yung idea? Sa exam, binigay na namin equation of the line. Ayun na lang. So, hindi nyo na kailangan mag linear regression sa calcu. So, binigay na namin equation of the line kasi kinonsider din namin yun, no? Na nagkaubusan ng cycle or hindi talaga kaya muna for this time. So, okay lang. So, given the equation of the line, given na rin yung R square, pero lagi nyo lang tandaan is how to solve for X. No? So, yan. Kinonsider na namin yung variable na yan. So, makakahinga na kayo probably. Pero dapat alam nyo kung ano yung absorbance. Paano nyo po napalabas yung value ng R? Sige, balik tayo ulit sa ano. Okay. So, balik ulit tayo dito. By the way, anong calcul ba gamit niyo? Yung ano? 991 ES or ano? Okay. Pag class whiz, ito yung step natin. Okay. Pag class whiz, ganito lang. So, option. Pindutin yung option, tapos pindutin nyo regression calc, no? So, regression calc. Pag pinindot nyo yun, lalabas na lahat, no? Ayan. So, B, ayun, 12.887. A intercept, 0.0137. Yung R dito, 9985. Hindi pa yan naka-square eh. So, anyway, pwede mo naman i-type yan uli sa calculus, square mo na lang. Ayan. Paano yung ano, gusto mo isa-isa sila lalabas, no? Okay. Kung class Swiss yung calcul nyo, sige, tatry rin natin sa 991. So, punta kayo sa regression muna. For class Swiss muna tayo. So, punta kayo regression. Yun yung R, di ba? Your R, tapos square mo lang. Yan. Okay? So, 9969. So, doon sa mga ES, kunin ko lang. Dami ko pang tiklupin sa likod. Okay. So, gawin natin to sa 991 ES. Okay? Wait lang. Hello kayo sa sarili niyo. Okay, ayan. Okay, for those using 991 ES, ita-type ko lang muna yung data. Wait lang. Okay, so pupunta kayo sa ito, mode. Nangyari. Ay, sorry. Yan. So mode tapos stat, no? So 3. Tapos yung A plus BX, yun yung linear. So A plus BX, so press natin to 2. Tapos yan na. So yung X, edi type natin. So 0, 0, 0.001, 0.005, 0.01, 0.05. And then sa Y, absorbance 0, 0.021, 0.1038, 0.1377, 0.6566. Okay, ayan, na-type in ko na lahat. Para mapalabas yung data dito, so press nyo lang AC. Nawala, di ba? Tapos, di ba may stat dito? So, shift stat, no? So, shift 1. Shift 1. Ayan, lalabas to. So, doon kayo sa reg, no? Regression. And, ayan. So, for the slope, yung B, pindutin mo yung B. Ayan, 12.88. For A naman, press mo ulit AC. Tapos, stat ulit. Shift, stat. Tapos, regression ulit. Tapos, A. Ayan, so 0.0137. Then, finally, for the R square, so stat ulit kayo. Regression. Then, R, no? Pero lagi nyo tatandaan, dapat yung R naka-square. Okay, so R square. Okay. And then, yan. 9969. Kakalayo naman yung R square. Magkakalayo naman. Actually, binigay na namin yung R square. So, di na kayo magsasolve ng R square. So, binigay na namin yung yung equation of the line, yung R square. Ang kailangan nyo na lang alamin is how to solve for the absorbance, how to solve for the concentration, how to solve for the molar absorptivity coefficient. So, yan na lang. Okay? Kasi again, kino-consider namin yung ibang calcu na hindi kaya yung mga ganong bagay. No? So, okay na. Ayan. So, yun lang ha. That marunong pa rin. Okay, sige. Okay na tayo sa question number 2. So, yung nakawala ko na naman yung pencil ko. Saan ko ba nalagay? Okay. Okay na. Sige, next question tayo. By the way, ilan na tayo? 309 na. Pwede na tayo gumawa ng simbahan. Okay, question number 3. Here's the question. Which is the missing block in a block diagram for absorption of radiation instrument given below? Sa absorbance na instrument daw. So, ano yung kulang dito? A, B, C, D. Lang ha. Palitan ko lang yung screen share. Ayan. So, ang sagot nyo ay B. Okay, Okay, so tama naman. So, it's letter D. It's the detector. No? So, lagi niya tatandaan na ganito yung sequence na. So, you have the radiation source. So, ano yung mga radiation source natin? You have the deuterium lamp, the tungsten halogen lamp, yun yung ginagamit naman sa UV, no? And then you have the wavelength selector or the monochromator. May gratings yan. So that para siyang CD. When you adjust the angle, iba yung color na lilitaw. Then once the wavelength was selected, it will pass through the sample. And then yung sample, i-absorb niya yung light. No? And then after nun, the transmitted light should be detected by the detector, no? So ano yung mga common detector dyan? You have the photomultiplier tube, no? Yun. And then readout, no? So computer processing na yan. Okay. So again, the answer for this one is the detector. So ano yung common na detector? Usually photomultiplier tube, no? Ayun. Okay, so okay na yan. Question number 4. Question number 4, what is the composition of Globar rod, which is used as a source in mid-IR spectroscopy? Saan daw gawa yung Globar rod? Tandaan nyo, kapag tungsten, pati deuterium, pati tungsten halogen, yon sa UV vis yun. Pero for IR, ang gamit natin doon ay Globar. No? Madalas Globar, pero minsan iba gamit nila. Depende sa manufacturer. Pero madalas Globar. So sagot is, sabi nga ni Jerka, so A, correct. No? Silicon carbide. No? Silicon carbide is the correct answer. Next question. If the following number of protons or neutrons is even, hindi ko na-gets. Kasi to, flinag siya ni Grammarly kanina. So, di ko nasundan. Ano daw nangyari? Okay, rephrase na lang natin yung problem. Nung tinatype ko to, ginano ni Grammarly. So, kapag daw even yung number of protons and neutrons, ano daw nangyayari sa nucleus spin? Ayan. Bonus. Ano yun? If even yung protons and neutrons anyari sa nucleus spin. Ayan, ayun lang. Social. Kapag even yung number ng protons and neutrons, ano nangyayari sa nucleus spin? Jojowain. Okay yan, Sunday ngayon. Okay. So, ang sagot ay false. Okay, ang sagot dyan, letter C, zero spin. Okay. So, zero spin. Circle lang ko pala yung sagot sa previous answers. Bilugan ko lang, wait lang. Okay, sagot dyan, zero spin. Ala, bakit ganun? Amen for that C. Okay, bakit letter C? Ala, kasi yan, pag hindi mo alam, hindi letter C. Hindi, ang sagot doon is, ganito kasi, yung electrons, di ba, naalala niyo yung Hund's rule dati. So, may up electron, may down electron na. So, may up, 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 tapos down, down, down electron. Yung nucleus, ganun din. No? So, apparently, the nucleus is like protons, neutrons, para din silang electron. No? So, they have spin. They have up and down spin. Kapag even yung number ng protons and neutron mo, okay, so, kunwari, dalawa yung protons mo, so, you can view it as isang up arrow, isang down arrow. So, ano mangyayari? It will cancel out, no? So, ang nucleus spin, 0. Kasi may isang pataas, may isang pababa. Paano kapag 1 yung proton mo? E di isang up lang yan. So, nucleus spin mo, 1. No? Paano kung tatlo yung protons mo? May up, down, up. No? Paano kapag ganyan? So, magka-cancel out to, may matitirang isa. No? So, anong sagot dyan? Actually, ano ba sagot dito? 1/3. Okay, may isang matitira na spin. No? Okay. So, sa tingin nyo, saang topic to? Sa tingin nyo, saang topic kaya to ginagamit? Saang spectroscopy ginagamit yung nuclear spin? Sa NMR, correct na. So sa NMR, what they do is, they detect nuclei with a net nuclear spin. Okay? Commonly, proton yung dinedetect. No? So, saan ginagamit yon? So, ginagamit yon to elucidate the structure of the compound. Malalaman namin yung connection ng atoms. Pwede rin namin gamitin yung NMR into a hospital setting. Yun yung MRI. So, sa MRI naman, it detects the proton pa rin. Okay? But instead of generating a graph, it generates a picture, no? Yung 3D picture ng katawan mo, no? So, anong molecule yung dinedetect ng ng MRI, no? And ang dinedetect nun is yung atom na hydrogen, no? Yun yung dinedetect niya. Yung hydrogen sa water, hydrogen sa cells mo. Okay, dinedetect niya yung lahat, no? Okay? And actually, that NMR technique, no, the nuclear magnetic resonance, it was just discovered by accident, no? Hindi doktor yung nakagawa niya, no? Physicist yung nakagawa. Okay, so yan. Kaya kayo, kung may med school kayo, okay, probably di-discuss din uli yung NMR. Okay, so what if odd number yung protons. Yes, may spin din naman. Okay? So may spin pa rin naman kapag odd number. No? Kasi kapag even, may up, may down, magka-cancel out sila. Ano yung example ng odd dito? Itong 3. So may isang up, may isang down, may isang up. No? Magka-cancel out yung up and down, may matitirang isa pa. So yun. So pwedeng odd number, no? Para ma-detect ng NMR. No? What kind of spin? No? So usually, ang spin ay pwedeng positive spin, pati half integral spin. No? So may mga spin, depende sa nuclei kasi. So may mga half integral spin, for example, yung mga anong atom yun? Fluorine ata. Fluorine is 1/2 positive yung spin niya. Okay. On the other hand, yung hydrogen, 1 yung spin niya. Okay. So, yan. Sana din na-discover. Kasi kung wala tayong NMR, walang MRI, nanguhula na lang tayo ng sakit. Siguro may shaman pa rin dito. Ayan. So, yan. Anong type ng spin meron kapag odd number? Pwedeng positive spin, pwede ding half integral or integral. Actually, itong tatlong to. Yan. Possible yan for an odd number of protons and neutrons. Yung zero spin, that is only possible kapag even. No? So, yan. Paano nagkakaroon ng integral? Kasi half integral. Kasi proton and neutron yung bibilangin mo talaga. Proton pa lang kasi binibilang ko this time. So, yun. Wag na kayo pumunta dun sa rabbit hole na yun. So, tandaan nyo lang, kapag even, zero spin, therefore, it will not be detected by NMR or MRI. Pero kapag odd number, it can be detected. Anong spin? Could be any of the three, depending on the number of protons and neutrons. Okay? Another question. Mass spectrometer separate ions on the basis of which of the following? Mass, charge, molecular weight, or mass to charge ratio? Okay. Mass spectrometer separate ions on the basis of which of the following? So mass, charge, molecular weight, mass to charge ratio. Si uli. Ito, siguro ganito, para ma-check nyo kung tama, no? Tignan nyo yung x-axis ng mass spectrometry. No? Ano yung x-axis doon sa mass spectra? Okay. Sige, pwede nyo i-google. Okay. So, ano yung x-axis sa mass spectra? Okay. So actually, ang sagot dyan ay so ang separation that happens in mass spec is actually the mass to charge ratio. So ang sagot dyan, letter D. Kasi yung x-axis ng mass spectra, mass per charge, no? Tapos nakita nyo gumaganong-ganon yan, di ba? Ayan. Yung pinakadulo, that's your molecular ion peak. Yung pinakamalaki, that's your base peak. Hindi naman kayo mag-interpret na. And ganun lang. No? So the x-axis kasi is mass to charge ratio. Therefore, ions are separated by that mass to charge ratio. Okay? So yun. Okay, pakita ko sa inyo yung spectra. Okay? Sunday na Sunday ngayon. Lagot kay Lord. Wait lang. Ayan. Okay, so this is the mass spectra. So kung titignan nyo, yung y-axis is just the relative intensity and the x-axis is mass to charge ratio. Okay? Yung pinakamalaking peak is the base peak. The pinakadulong peak is the molecular ion peak. No? Ayan. Saan ginagamit to? Mass spectra is used to confirm the fragments of molecule. Kasi nangyayari dito, when a molecule enters a mass spectrometer, china-chop-chop niya yan. Okay? So this is how it looks like. No? When your sample enters this, no, it will be cut by electrons, so macha-chop-chop yan. And depending on the mass, no, itong mga fragments na to, mag-separate sila, no? Yan. So magpuputol-putol sila. Ayun lang. So again, you don't need to really study this deeply. Basta lagi nyo lang tandaan, y-axis is the relative abundance or relative intensity. X-axis is the mass to charge ratio. And the ions are separated by mass to charge ratio. Yung pinakadulo, tawag doon, molecular ion peak. Yung pinakamalaki na peak, tawag doon, base peak. No? Ayun lang naman. Okay? Balik ulit tayo sa screen. Okay, next question. Ito, for this next question, chromatography tayo. Okay, so chromatography tayo. Below is a diagram of the separation of mixture components in a normal phase chromatographic column. From the diagram, infer the following. So most polar, least polar, higher affinity to the stationary phase, higher affinity to the mobile phase. So you have component WXYZ here. And this is a normal phase chromatography. So, pababa yung column, di ba? So, sino daw dito yung pinaka-polar? Sino pinaka-least polar? Sino yung mataas yung affinity to the stationary phase? Sino yung mataas yung affinity to the mobile phase? Okay. So, ito muna tanong ko. In a normal phase chromatography, ano yung polarity ng stationary phase? Ano yung polarity ng mobile phase? In a normal phase chromatography. So, ano yung polarity nila? So, stationary phase is polar. And the mobile phase is non-polar. Okay? So, stationary phase polar, mobile phase non-polar. Pag reverse, edi baliktad lang. So, stationary phase non-polar, mobile phase polar. Okay? So, yun. The following is the most polar component. So, ganito na yung logic dito, no? If yung molecule kasi is attracted to the stationary phase, therefore, it will travel less distance. No? Mabagal siya mag-travel. Yun yung nakita nyo sa TLC, di ba? So sa TLC, may mga molecules na mabagal mag-travel, no? Sa paper. Ibig sabihin kasi nun, kapit na kapit sila sa paper. No? Isipin mo na lang, daga ka, tapos may, yung papel na may rugby doon, na apakan mo. So, ang hirap mag-travel, di ba? Kasi masyado kang sticky or nag-i-interact ka sa stationary phase. So, yun. So, ibig sabihin nun, in a column chromatography, if a component is polar, okay, it will stick with the stationary phase na. So, matagal siya lalabas. So, dito sa WXYZ, sino yan? Okay? Ano yung most polar? WXYZ. Sabi ni Nathan, W daw. So, sagot doon, ang pinaka-polar ay sino? W, X, Y, or Z. Ayan, iba-iba sagot na. Sasagot doon sa most polar ay W. Okay, W dapat, no? Bakit W? Kasi in a column chromatography kasi pababa yan, di ba? Di ba? Normal phase, so polar yung stationary phase. Therefore, kung polar yung stationary phase, polar yung solute, matagal yan bago lumabas, no? Mag-a-adhere kasi siya sa stationary phase, no? So, ibig sabihin, the most polar is yung pinakamabagal lumabas, no? Okay. And that's your component W. And yan na rin yung sagot sa letter C, no? The higher affinity to the stationary phase is the W then. So, parehas kasi sila polar, therefore, matagal siya lumabas. Okay. O ngayon, okay. Ayan. So, W polar na kasi matagal siya lumabas na. Stuck siya dun eh. So, yung unang lumabas, wala siyang pake sa column. So, it doesn't interact with the column. Therefore, yung pinakadulo, yung Y, that is the least polar. Okay? Kung non-polar yung Y, ibig sabihin, mataas yung affinity niya to the mobile phase, no? Kalad ka rin siya. Okay. So, yun. So, yung sagot ay WY, WY. YY. Okay. So, most polar yung matagal lumabas in a normal phase chromatography. Least polar yung mabilis lumabas in a normal phase chromatography. Yung higher affinity to the stationary phase, yun yung matagal lumabas. Higher affinity to the mobile phase, yun yung lumalabas agad. Ayun. Okay, so yan. Ayun na, lagi niyo tandaan. Normal phase. Meron pang reverse phase na. May reverse phase pa tayong tinatawag. Okay. Sige, let's move on to the next question. Next question. Ayan, favorite nyo to. Assign the molecules to their respective peaks in a reverse phase HPLC. So, ano na lang. So, type nyo letter A, B, C, tapos ano yung compound para doon. Ito yung sorbate. Ito yung benzoate. Ito yung caffeine. Okay? Pero before we answer this, ano ba muna meron sa reverse phase? No? Ang stationary phase ay non-polar, no? Non-polar stationary phase, mobile phase, polar. Okay? So, kabaliktaran siya ng normal na stationary, hindi gaya ako. So, stationary phase, polar, mobile phase, non-polar for a normal phase. No? Pero kapag reverse phase, so, di baliktarin mo lang. So, stationary phase, polar, non-polar, mobile phase, polar. Medyo maraming ganito sa exam, no? Concepts ng chromatography. Ito question ko sa inyo. Ano yung ginagamit na column sa reverse phase HPLC? Yan, C18 na. Okay, so C18 ang ginagamit. Silica C18. Pero kapag kapag normal phase, silica lang. Sige, tingin kayo maigi sa picture. So, magbotohan tayo. Ito bago pala natin sagutan. So, if this is a reverse phase HPLC, ibig sabihin, yung unang lalabas dito ay polar o non-polar? Yung unang lalabas kaya, polar o non-polar? Polar na. So, unang lalabas is the polar compound. Bakit polar? Kasi, ganito, kung non-polar yung compound, magtatagal yan sa stationary phase, Sabi nga ng iba, parang yan, parang nasa tayuman ka. Tapos gusto mo yung pagkain, di napatagal ka pa, Unlike kunwari, ayaw mo pagkain doon, lumabas ka na agad. So, parang idea lang doon, kung attracted ka sa stationary phase, matatagal lang ka lumabas. Ayan. So, ganun lang. So, kunwari, non-polar yung molecule, matatagal yan sa column. So, matagal pa siya lalabas. Pero kung hindi naman siya attracted sa column, lalabas agad yan. So, in our case, yung caffeine, ba't ko sinabi? Wala kayo narinig. So, in our case, polar yung nasa harapan, And then, non-polar yung nasa dulo, lalabas na. Okay? Wala kayo narinig. Okay. So, ngayon, ano kaya yung compound A? Sige. Ano kaya yung compound A? Ano kaya dito sa tatlong to yung pinaka-polar? Is it sorbate, benzoate, or caffeine? Okay, so for letter A, it is probably the caffeine. Kasi nabanggit ko na kanina. So, ang polar dito sa tatlo is the caffeine. Ang tanong, bakit siya naging polar, sir? Probably yun yung tanong niya, So, ano ba yung reasons for a molecule to be a polar compound, It should have hydrogen bonding and dipole-dipole interactions, So, as you can see, the caffeine molecule has a lot of electronegative atoms such as oxygen and nitrogen. Remember that when oxygen and nitrogen are bonded to carbon, the bond is polar. So that means dito, ano yan? Puro polar yan, Polar to, polar to, polar yan, polar yan, polar yan, polar yan. Lahat sila polar. In addition, okay, so puro polar to, Kasi because of the presence of electronegative atoms, such as nitrogen and oxygen. So polar yan. In addition, they can also perform hydrogen bonding, They can accept hydrogens, for bonding. So pwede mag-hydrogen bond itong mga to. But that's why it is really polar, the caffeine. Okay. Ayan. So, sundan naman bakit caffeine? Bakit caffeine? Kasi polar yan Bakit siya naging polar? Because of the presence of electronegative atoms, Masyadong marami, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, 6, So, polar talaga siya. Now, ito na. Letter B and letter C. Okay. Yung K dito, yung potassium, well, wag nyo na lang siya pansinin. To be fair with the benzoate. So, it's O-. Ayan. Okay. So, ayan. So, between sorbate and benzoate, no? Ang tawag sa graph ay chromatogram. Sulat natin. So, this is called a chromatogram. So, it's a chromatogram. Okay. So, let's now focus between sorbate and benzoate. Okay. So, it seems na ano sila? Pare sila may carboxyl group, no? C double bond OO, C double bond OO. Kaso ang pinagkaiba nila is yung nasa left side ng carbonyl. Dito sa benzoate, it's benzene ring. For the sorbate, ito ay ayan. Para sila na may para sila na may carboxyl group. Magkaiba sila ng carbon chain sa left side. So, ngayon, ano na gagawin natin? Sino sa tingin nyo yung letter B? Okay. Between the two, sino sa tingin nyo yung mas polar? Sorbate, benzoate. Sino sa tingin nyo yung mas polar? Between sorbate and benzoate, sino sa tingin nyo mas polar? Okay. Sorbate daw. Tanongin ko kayo, bakit? Bakit sorbate? Tapos nagpalit agad din. Bakit? Bakit sa tingin nyo sorbate? Bakit sa tingin nyo benzoate? Ang benzoate sa sagot nyo, tatanungin ko kayo, bakit din? Okay. Kasi may okay daw yung sorbate. Ayun, may nakita akong sagot. Nang hula lang. Okay, so ang sagot doon is, okay, mas polar si sorbate kaysa sa benzoate. Okay. Bakit mas polar yung sorbate kaysa sa benzoate? Okay. Pares silang may carbon bond. So, ibig sabihin, pares non-polar tong benzene ring pati itong alkene. Ang pinagkaiba lang ay, ano yung pinagkaiba nila? Carbon atoms, no? Okay. So, ilan yung carbon atoms dito? Oops, sorry. Okay, exclude natin to. Pares lang kasi. So, ilang carbon atoms meron dito? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, we have 5 carbons dito. Dito ilan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, you have 6 carbons sa benzoate, no? And 5 carbons sa sorbate. Ang idea kasi is that, the lesser the carbon number, virtually same yung molecule. So, the lesser the carbon number, the lesser the London force. Therefore, more polar siya, no? So, again, for sorbate and benzoate, halos magkaparehas. Ang pinagkaiba lang yung carbon numbers. So, the lesser the carbon number, the more polar, no? Okay, so ibig sabihin, mas polar si sorbate kaysa sa benzoate. So, andito si sorbate, andito si benzoate, no? Ayun. Bakit nasa dulo si benzoate? Kasi nga, mas marami siyang carbon, therefore, greater London force, no? So, siya ay lesser polar talaga. Okay. So, again, let's summarize bakit ganito yung ating conclusion. So, ganito yung conclusion kasi, una, yung caffeine, bakit siya polar? Tignan mo naman yung molecule, ang daming electronegative atom. Therefore, it can perform hydrogen bonding and dipole-dipole, no? Ayan. So polar talaga siya. Between sorbate and benzoate naman, there is a similar carboxyl group here. Ang difference lang is the number of carbon atoms here sa left side nila. So benzoate has more carbons than sorbate. Therefore, benzoate is lesser polar than the sorbate. So ito si benzoate, ito si sorbate. Okay. Next question na tayo. Konti na lang, malapit na matapos. 12 questions lang ata pre-prepare. May ganito ba sa exam? Meron. Yung sorbate, ano kasi yung ginugol ko is potassium sorbate. Yung benzoate, ionic form din kasi yan. So may potassium din dito. So tinanggal ko na lang yung ions, no? Because they are dissolved in water naman. So, tinanggal ko na lang just to be in ion form. Okay. Ano lang, nagkamali lang ako ng kuha ng picture kasi na Google ko dito potassium sorbate. Well, it should be sorbate lang. Paano po malalaman if massless polar po yung caffeine sa sorbate? Pwede ganito gawin ninyo. Alright, tinatry nyo i-justify si caffeine, bakit siya mas polar sa sorbate. You can just say na maraming polar bonds dito. Okay. Paano naging marami polar bonds? Ilan yung electronegative atoms dito? Sa 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 electronegative atoms. Meaning the molecule is really polar. Compare mo yan sa sorbate, 2 lang. No? So lesser polar siya. So pwede nyo i-ganon yung reasoning. Ganon-ganon niya lang. Kung OH for the sorbate, well, bagay ganun din sa benzoate, no? Kung OH yan, kunwari, in general na lang, no? Okay, sige, kunwari in general, may nakita kayong OH, tapos may carbonyl. You will prefer OH than the carbonyl. Kasi hydrogen bond is stronger than carbonyl. So that is in general, ha? Kunwari, may nakita kayong OH. Ano talaga yan? Priority mo yun, no? Okay. Kasi that's the strongest intermolecular force of attraction. OH is more polar. Kasi hydrogen bonding is the strongest London. It is the strongest intermolecular force of attraction. Ito, bakit hindi B yung caffeine if siya yung mas polar? Di ba yung mas polar dapat yung nasa left? Ito yung nasa left. So A talaga. Okay. So nasa left yung pinaka-polar. And according to our reasoning, si caffeine yung pinaka-polar. So di siya sa B. So sa A siya. Kasi nasa leftmost side parate yung more polar. So tama yung pero tama naman yung mag-adhere siya sa mobile phase. Correct yun. So ibig sabihin, siya yung unang lalabas. Ano ba yung unang pick dito? Itong A. So dapat sa A talaga siya. Ayan. Ay, sorry. Ito may question. Sige, try natin to kay kunwari, benzoate, may H na siya, no? So, na siya? Benzoic acid, no? Would it be more polar than the sorbate? Yes, no? Kung H yung nandun, yes, it will be more polar. Kasi ano na siya, combination na siya ng dipole and hydrogen bonding eh. Yung taas sa graph, that's the concentration lang. Ibig sabihin lang nun, edi mas maraming sorbate na na-detect. No? So, onti lang benzoate, maraming sorbate. Caffeine, medyo onti lang. So, the intensity of the peak kasi is the concentration. Given naman yung structure, yes. Okay, so given naman yung structure. So yun lang, so always just prioritize yung hydrogen bonding and yung hydrogen bonding capable na bonds, yung OH, NH, HF. Yan. They are very polar. Followed by the dipoles. Ano yung mga dipoles natin? CO, C double bond O, ayun. And kunwari for example, for sorbate and benzoate, similar structure. Ang pinakaiba lang is yung carbon number. Yung carbon number gawin yung basis for the polarity. The more carbon, the lesser polarity. The lower carbon, the greater the polarity. Okay. Sige, next tayo. Next. Yan. TLC. Identify the RF value of the most polar and the least polar compound in a TLC plate. Dito i-round off nyo na lang. Lalagyan ko na lang ng estimate. No? So estimate natin that this is 6 cm. Estimate 4 cm yan. Ito, kunwari lang to 4.7 cm. May mental ruler tayo. 3.6 cm. 2.7 cm. 0.8 cm. Ayan, dog show lang yan. Okay. So, kunwari yan yung mga distances nila from the origin. Calculate for the RF value of the most polar and the least polar compound in a TLC plate. Ano na lang. 4 sorry. Di pala. Mali. Below 4 pala yan. 3.7 pala. Oo nga, no. But, wait lang. Duling lang. Ayan. Okay. Gamit na nga lang ng ruler eh. Grabe, nangaaway ah. Sige, ayan 4 cm ito, 3.7 ito. 2.6, 1.7, 0.9. Sige, solve nyo na lang yung RF value. Sige na, sagot na tayo. Okay. So, how do you solve the RF ulit? So, RF is computed as the solute distance over solvent distance. No? So we estimated that the solvent distance is 6 cm. Okay? While the solute distance varies. No? Ang ganito na lang. Yung most polar, lagi nyo tandaan, yun yung nasa baba. No? Okay? Yung most polar, yun yung pinaka nasa baba ng TLC plate. No? Kasi in a TLC plate, polar yung plate. No? Papel yun and usually silica, which is also polar. So for the most polar, it will be 0.8 divided by 6. No? And for the least polar, siya yung pinakamalayo yung trinavel. No? Kasi hindi siya attracted sa stationary phase. So aalis na siya. Okay, so pinakamataas na trinavel yung 4 cm. No? So 4 divided by 6. No? So 0.8 divided by 6, 0.13. Tapos yung least polar natin, 4 divided by 6, 0.67. Okay? So this is the least polar. This is the most polar. Okay? Ganun lang. May natama na din sa may mga ganyan na. So, kailangan magaling kayo divide lang. Okay? Sige, move on na tayo. Onti na lang. Normal phase po ba pala ito yung TLC? We really don't use the term normal phase. Pero yeah, you can consider it normal phase. Kasi yung stationary phase kasi doon, polar talaga, silica. However, sa TLC, we don't use non-polar solvent. Ang term namin ay less polar. Kasi if non-polar solvent gamitin mo dyan, mag-evaporate agad yan. So what we use is less polar solvent such as dichloromethane, ethanol, isopropyl alcohol. Ayun na. So, parang ganun pero hindi ganun. Yun yung idea. Kasi stationary phase, polar talaga. Mobile phase, not technically non-polar. Kasi mag-evaporate yun agad eh. Diba? So, lesser polar yung gamit namin. Pag hexane ginamit mo dyan, hindi pa kayo nakakapag-run, nag-evaporate na lahat yan. Ganun. Okay, sige, next tayo. Ayan. Ito, analytical separation. The distribution constant for X between N-hexane and water is 2.34. Calculate the concentration of X remaining in aqueous phase after 25 ml of 0.05 molar X is treated by the extraction of the following quantities of hexane. So 1 process, 10 ml, 2 process, 5 ml, 4 process, 2.5 ml, 8 process, 1.25 ml. So ito yung separation na. Okay. Tatanungin ko kayo. In separating compounds, ano yung nagmamatter? Yung volume or yung number ng extraction process? Sino yung mas malaki yung efficiency? Yung maraming volume or yung maraming process? Okay. So, more extractions. Tama, no? So, the more extractions you do, the more efficient yung removal. No? Bakit ganon? Kasi, because of the distribution constant. No? Kasi regardless of the volume, the distribution constant will be the same. Ibig sabihin, kahit gano'ng karami ilagay mo yung volume ng isa, konti lang talaga yung lalabas doon. So, ang technique namin is damihan mo na lang yung extraction process. Na. Okay? Para paulit-ulit lumabas yung compound na gusto mo i-isolate. So, yes, maraming process. So, kunwari, nakita nyo to sa exam. So, which of the following will yield, no, the greatest, extraction? Edi, syempre, yung pinakamaraming process. Siya yung may pinakamaraming makukuha. No? Okay. So, now, how do we solve for, yan yung alam natin na the more processes, the more na marami tayong makukuha. Ibig sabihin, mas onti yung matitira in the aqueous space. Now, ang question is, paano natin kukunin yung concentration mismo? Okay. So, para makuha yung concentration, we use the equation. Okay. So, we use this equation, no? So, where I is the number of processes. Okay. Aqueous volume, ito yung volume ng aqueous. Organic volume, ito yung volume ng organic solvent. K is the distribution constant. AO is the initial concentration. And then AI is the remaining concentration. Okay? So yan. Ngayon, ano dito is you have to identify sino dito yung VAQ, V organic, sino yung I, sino yung AO, na yun yung ano. So itong 0.05 molar ng X, that's your initial concentration. No? Yan. Yung 25 ml, yung 25 ml ng aqueous X, no? Sabi naman dyan, aqueous space, no? Okay. Ito yung V aqueous, no? And then itong 234, ito yung distribution constant K. And then the V organic is this one. Kasi sabi dito, with the following quantities of N-hexane. So hexane is organic, no? So V organic yan. So number of processes, ayun naman. So 1, 2, 4, 8. So can you please calculate for the AI? So sulat natin yung equation dito. After extraction, ilan matitira? So we can write the equation as V aqueous, V organic times K plus V aqueous raised to I. Ayan. So plug in nyo na lang. So lagay nyo yung concentration for A, B, C, D. Sige. Ganito, if you see the trend na from A to B, bumababa yung concentration remaining, tama yon. Tama yon. Kung pababa ng pababa yung concentration dito, tama yung ginagawa nyo. Why? Kasi sabi nyo nga, the more processes, the more yung naukuha mo. Ibig sabihin, bumababa yung remaining na ions or compounds na dissolved. So, dapat makita nyo as you increase the process, pababa ng pababa yung concentration. Okay, so sige, umpisan ko na, no? Dami kasi isosolve, eh. Siguro I'll share my calculator. Okay. So, nakalimutan ko yung ano. Sorry. AO. sige. Solve natin, no? So for the first one, so aqueous fix yan. So 25 divided by volume organic 10 times the distribution constant 2.34 plus the volume or aqueous raised to number of processes 1 times the concentration 0.5. So after the first extraction, yung matitira daw ay 0.26 molar na. Siguro to follow that on 258 molar na. Okay. So yun, nangalahati, no? Yung extracted from 0.5 molar naging 0.258 molar. Okay? So ibig sabihin yung remaining na extract mo na. Okay? So medyo marami pa rin, no? So what we do is we do the process multiple times, no? So ngayon, pakita natin sa 2 process naman. So for 2 process with 5 ml, ang papalitan natin ay yung volume ng organic. So 5 ml, tapos 2 processes, no? So yung exponent, instead of 1, gagawin natin 2. So sagot ay 0.23, 232. So ano yung idea? Bumababa nga yung concentration na natitira after multiple processes. Now, gawin natin yung 4 extractions with 2.5 ml. 2.5 ml, tapos 4 na extraction. 215 na, or 0.22. And then lastly, 8 processes with 0.125 ml. 1.25 ml. 8 processes. Sagot, 0.206. Okay. So, ano yung nakikita natin dito? What's evident here is that when you do multiple extraction, mas nagiging efficient nga yung removal ng compounds, no? Kasi pababa ng pababa yung remaining compound, no? May matitira pa rin, pero at least marami, mas onte, no? Yung matitira kaysa naman sa marami yung natira, no? So, yan. May ganito bang equation sa exam? Meron naman, no? So, magsa-substitute na lang kayo. Okay? So, nilagay ko na tong equation sa exam. Okay? Again, lagi tandaan, the more extraction, the better. Okay? The better or the more efficient yung removal. Okay? Next question na tayo. Next question. Ayan. Which of the following cannot be detected in an NMR? Which of the following cannot be detected in an NMR? Deuterium, fluorine 19, phosphorus 31, carbon 13. Sure na, no? Siguro tinanong dito sa inyo, no? Yes, so tama. The answer is letter A. Okay, so we use letter A, no? Yeah. So deuterium cannot be detected in an NMR. So ito, bigyan ko kayo ng side trivia. Kung mag-a-analyze ka ng compound mo sa NMR, dapat kasi nasa liquid form yon. Kaso we know H2O, no? H2O, madedetect yan sa NMR, no? Oxygen 16, walang signal yan kasi even number. Pero yung proton, madedetect yan sa NMR. So, mangyayari kung normal na tubig lang yung gamitin mo for NMR, ano yun? Madedetect niya yun. So, pangit yung data mo all throughout na. So, what we do is instead of using a regular water, we use adulterated water. So, adulterated water is a water with deuterium. So, instead of normal water. So, kasi puro even numbers, hindi yan madedetect sa NMR. So, mahal yan, no? Alam ko parang 4,000 ata, ilang ml lang ng deuterated water. So, ganun. 4,000 mahigit. So, ganun kamahal yung NMR. Kaya kung mag-MRI kayo, ganun din, mahal din yun. Okay, kasi masyadong maraming kino-consider. Saka na lang, ito, common sense na lang siguro. Yung tatlong options, odd number, edi yung even number yun ay iba, di ba? So, ganun. Ito, next question. The type of chemical sensor where current is measured. The type of chemical sensor where current is measured. Okay, so ang sagot ay letter A. Okay, so letter A ang sagot, amperometric sensors. Okay, so recall natin, ano pinagkaiba ng amperometric sa potentiometric sa conductometric at ano yung catalytic, no? So amperometric, no, keywords na lang tignan nyo. Ampere. So ampere is current, no? Sa physics yon, no? So mini-measure niya amperes or the current. Potensyo, yan yung sinusolve nyo, di ba? Pag sinabi natin cell potential, voltage yon, di ba? Okay. So, di ba, kapag sinabi ko sa inyo, calculate the cell potential, E cell, di ba volts yung sinasagot nyo? So, if you measure the voltage, potential yan, no? Yan, potential. A conductometric naman is the resistance, no? Or yung ohms, ayan. May apostrophe pa. So, ohms siya, no? So, yan. So, amperometric, current, potentiometric, voltage, resistance, yung ohms, no? Conductometric, no? Ano yung catalytic, no? Ibang context naman yan. Meron tayong affinity base at meron tayong catalytic na sensor. Ibang context yan. So, yung catalytic pati yung affinity, it is based on the type of the sensor. Okay, so pag catalytic, ibig sabihin nangyayaring redox reaction sa detector. On the other hand, if you have affinity based, mini-measure niya yung concentration na mismo, no? Okay. It is also selective kapag affinity based. It's selective to specific molecules lang. Yun, so specific siya. So example ng catalytic sensor would be the glucometer. May nangyayari kasing redox reaction doon. Same as the pregnancy test kit. So catalytic yon. Yung HCG, human something something. Nagre-redox reaction yon sa sensor. Pero affinity based, example nun would be the COVID test kit. No? So, pag dumikit din yung RNA ng virus, madedetect niya. So, yan. Pag nag-thesis kayo, pwede nyo gawin yan. Medyo madali lang gumawa ng sensor. Pwede paper-based, no? Pwede nyo siya gawin thesis in the future. Uso yung ganitong thesis sa UST, no? UST, BS Chem. Puro sila sensors. So kayo, pwede nyo gawin, no? Habang maaga pa, mag-isip na kayo ng thesis. Ayun, tapos na pala yung PowerPoint. Okay. So that's the end of the review session, no? So yun lang. So I will upload the copy of the PowerPoint na lang with the answers, as well as I will upload the video later, no. I-YouTube ko na lang uli kasi kapag ni-request nyo sa Teams, na-flood ng email. Yes. Merong glucose na affinity, pero madalas catalytic kasi what happens in the glucose, no, usually is na-convert siya into gluconic acid, no, which can be detected by the sensor. Sige, wala bang plus points? Ba't may plus points? Okay. So, isa-send ko na. Wag muna kayo siguro umalis, no? Isa-send ko na yung PDF file. So, wait lang kayo. Wag muna kayo umalis. Yung last time, meron din. Okay, yung kahapon. I-upload ko sa chat box natin yung mga PDF na. So, wait nyo lang. Ito. Given yung constants, yes. Okay, na-upload na ba? May potential, yes. Yung mga E-cell, Nernst equation, ayan. May titration, yes. Yung pH, no? Yung ginawa natin yesterday. Na-upload na ba? Anyway, so mamaya upload ko ulit, no? Merong formula sa likod ng test paper. Marami po bang items yung may peaks? Wala naman masyado. Anong chapters yung maraming question? Sige, dito tayo sa Canvas. Tingin muna kayo dito. So, bale, walang redox titration. Interpreting spectra, yes, meron. Yung titration formula andun din, pero ito walang label yung titration formula. Dapat alam nyo kung ano yung context. Balancing ng redox, meron, yes. Ayan. Walang label. Sanay naman kayo sa walang label. Okay lang yan. Pwede ba tanggalan? Yes, pwede naman. Basta ibalik nyo lang lahat. No? Sunod-sunod, yes, magkakasunod naman. Tingin muna kayo dito. So, bale, dito sa table of specification, nakalagay na kung anong item yung marami. So, ako I highly suggest doon kayo mag-focus lalo. Sa lecture, pinakamarami is electrochem and spectroscopy. So, ano yung mga questions sa electrochem? Hindi, yung redox titration doon wala yung Di ko nga alam ba't nila ginaganon eh. Ay, wait lang. End muna natin recording. Ayan.